I'll let you start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So originally, I had this idea I was going to talk about bad first dates. So I'm going to talk about a bad first date with an ex-boyfriend from hell, and then explain why he was an ex-boyfriend from hell for you. I want to say 15, but I know it was for sure sometime between 15 and 18. I think it was like 15, 16-ish. I had just moved to a new side of town. I had like 2 friends. That was it.
You were just a baby.
Yeah, it really was. We used to hang out at this skate park, and there was this kid there that would buy us alcohol, which I don't condone underage drinking, but when you live in Las Vegas and you're young and you want to be one of the cool kids to do what everybody else is doing, whatever. And so, you know, we thought that was the coolest thing because he was 21. And so we hung out together so much at this skate park that we decided we were together. We'd never actually gone on a date and never actually like hung out alone, but we had decided we were dating. That was it. We were in a relationship. So for our first date, we'd been together for good like 3 weeks, maybe a month. He shows up to my house to pick me up, and he is drunk out of his mind. Like, should not have been driving his SUV.
You were a child, though. Like,
yeah.
Where is this person? We need to have this person recorded.
I hid the like whole age thing from my parents. Like, they knew that I was dating someone, but I told him he went to school with me because I thought I was smooth. They always find out. Trust me. They always find out. My dad knew, and he hated him, and he found out before I'd ever said anything. I still to this day don't know how my dad found out, but that's a different story. But anyway, so he shows up, and he is drunk out of his mind. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting in the car with this boy. It's not happening. So instead of doing that, we just kind of wandered around my neighborhood, walked around the dog park. You know, I was trying to just kind of get his exercise going, get that metabolism up so that the alcohol would get out of his system and we could actually go hang out. And things did not work that way. No. We ended up running into some friends of mine that lived in the neighborhood, and, you know, some of the little kids that were like friends with my siblings and stuff, and they knew. They pretended not to know. They tried really hard to play nice and pretend they didn't know, but they knew. And so, you know, we really were trying to sober this kid up, and it just did not happen. He ended up falling asleep on a power box.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I stayed by that power box for like a good 2-3 hours until he woke up. And he was finally, you could tell that he was sober enough to be, you know, doing activities. And at that point, I was over it. I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't want anything to do with that date. I was sure as heck not getting in a car with this boy. So I told him, you know, I wasted a good chunk of my day. I had homework to do. He needed to go. So he went home. And that was the last time I ever hung out with him. Like, we were still kind of together, but about 2 weeks later, you know, every time I talked to him on the phone and stuff, I could tell he was drunk, he was slurring. I was just over it. And so I told him, I was like, hey, I think we shouldn't be together anymore. This is getting really weird. I don't like this. I definitely don't want to date an alcoholic. And so he just said, okay. And that was that. So
you were a child.
I know. But see, when you're 16 and like a 20-something guy wants to date you, you think you're so cool, and all your little friends think it's so cool. And now looking back, I'm like, wow, he was a loser. But back then I was like, oh, he's so cool and he likes me. What? Like, it was crazy.
When I was 16, my mom tried to hook me up. My mother, hi Mom, tried to hook me up with a 24-year-old. Because she was selling cars at the time. So he bought a car from us, and he had told her that he thought I was cute. And, you know, he was talking about how his job and how good his job was and how good it paid and everything. And of course my mom was like, good guy, you know, he has a great job. Me being 16, the only thing I could see was he had a dad bod at 24. He was buying.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing. He was like
okay.
fluffy. Not that I mind fluffy guys now. It's just when you're 16,
You want to date that underwear model.
you want to date that hottie. It's okay if you're a little fluffy, but you want to date that hottie. So, it was like right around the time of our military ball because I was in ROTC. And he was my date for the military ball. And he went with me and my mom to the dress fitting. He even paid for my dress, I think.
Oh, that's nice.
And he even paid for it to be altered. But when the dress tailor guy person, dressmaker person, I don't know what to call him.
The tailor? The one that made it or the one that altered it?
Altered it.
Tailor.
Oh, okay. Don't know. Well, the tailor was altering the bodice. Like, it was one of those dresses you couldn't wear anything with. And when he was putting in the cups in the right place, my date turns to my mom and goes, "Man, I'm glad I'm wearing sweatpants right now. Otherwise, all kind of stuff would be showing." To my mother.
Which I've heard those stories. That is not something that you say to... No, that's
Why
not
would
something you say to mom.
Why did you say that to
like,
my
that's
mom?
not something you say to anybody's mom, but...
Anyway, my mom loved this guy. Thought he could do no wrong. Thought he was the sweetest guy in the world. Me, I'm over here like... You're 24. You bought a beat up, crappy car from my mom. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So he goes to pick me up one night for a date, and you can tell he just got off work. He's like, "Honey, I'm so sorry. I forgot about our date tonight." And I'm like, "It's okay. I didn't want to go anyway." And my mom was like, "Well, tell him why." And I'm like, "I don't like you."
Because you loser. Sorry if you watch this video.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm her mouthy friend.
Yeah. I just couldn't, I didn't like the guy. I just didn't feel any connection to him. He was too old for me, for one. He could have went to jail for dating me, 2. Shame on mom for number 3. Just saying. I wonder how he's doing, though. I should probably look him up on Facebook one day.
Telling you, that is the best feeling in the world. When you feel spiteful and bitter about a relationship, like, even if it's got no reason, you're just having a bad day and you feel spiteful and bitter, go look them up on Facebook and then you'll be like, "Hey, your life sucks too, alright."
Oh, speaking of, to the guy in high school that said he couldn't date me because he didn't date fat chicks. Facebook, bro. Just
What's
saying.
up with that, man?
Just saying.
What's up with that? Because she showed me that Facebook. What's up with that? Also, fat chicks are beautiful and deserve love too.
We are very beautiful. We deserve lots of love. Just
Almost
not from
my
you.
drink all over the phone. Okay.
Please don't do that.
It's already broken, so.
Sorry. I keep checking my phone too.
So,
I'm just hoping like random people we were looking up, it's not like looking us up.
dude, sometimes I really hope that my exes find my YouTube just to be like, yeah, she's still a pain in the ass. All right, I made the right choice. And then they don't bother me anymore. I think that's a beautiful thing. But, yeah.
My story wasn't as good as yours. There was nothing interesting that happened other than me being a bitch. 16-year-old little goody bitch.
Can't be as bad as your ex breaking up with you like 6 months before you're supposed to get married. That was a fun time, but
No.
I still have
no.
a certain degree of love for this person only because we went through so much together that I'm not going to talk trash about them, but that was a really messed up thing to do. Anyway.
Well, at least it wasn't like 6 months after the wedding. I'm just...
That would be terrible. Oh man, that would be terrible. Yeah, it's better to get it out of the way up front and get it done clean, gone.
Speaking of one of the exes I was Facebook stalking, I'm still friends with his ex before me.
Yes, tell that story. That was great.
Okay, so I was telling her a little about it, and I couldn't find him on Facebook.
Shout out to Homegirl for finding him, by the way.
Shout out, girl, for real. This is why her and I are friends. Like, so I knew this guy online back when AOL was still a thing.
AOL.
He got my email address because I had given it out at the mall. And back then it was at AOL.
Back when kids actually left the house to meet people.
Right. Right. Do they do that anymore?
I have no idea. I'll ask my little brother. He's 17.
I don't know.
He can tell me.
Right. Damn millennials. Anyway, so I noticed a really tall, good-looking white kid walk by with his little short Asian friend. I was like, oh, the Asian friend is cute too. So I didn't pay no attention to it. But I didn't realize they were like waiting at the store. And he actually wrote down my email address and he started talking to me on AOL. And this was, I still lived in South Carolina at the time when this had happened. So we started talking when I lived in South Carolina, and then we moved to Florida. And I want to say a couple months after I broke up with my boyfriend, he broke up with his girlfriend, who is the ex I'm friends with. So we dated for good 5 months, I think.
Dang.
Good 5 months. We were talking about moving in together. We were talking about getting a place together. We were talking about, potentially maybe one day having kids. He already had 7 ferrets.
7 ferrets?
7 ferrets, bitch. 7.
Jesus.
7 of these little bastards. One of which hated me and bit me every time he see me.
Boo.
Boo. Anyway, so my dad's having health issues, and him and I had taken a couple weeks off because he knew my dad was having health issues and he just wanted me to be there for my dad, whatever.
That's good.
And we were actually talking one night about getting a place and me moving in with him, but I needed to get a better job or something. Next time I talked to him, it was weird. He was distant, he wasn't talkative, he didn't want to do anything, he just wanted to have phone sex and hang up. Which was unlike us. Most time we talked, if we did anything over the phone, we did something, and then we talked more, and then we went to sleep.
I still don't understand the appeals of phone sex.
I still don't.
Like, what gratification do you get from hearing somebody on the other end of the line go, ooh, okay, I'm done. Anyway.
I don't understand. But this person, I went over to his house one weekend. He lived in a different city than me, so he would have to drive down, pick me up, and we would drive back. So I would spend the weekend with him. And this weekend, he didn't want to go anywhere. He didn't want to do anything. If we did go do something, he was very, why are you holding my hand? Why are you touching me? Why are you, it's hot. Why are you this close? Back away a little bit. And one day, we're sitting at his computer, and I'm talking. He hands me his camera, and he goes, take a picture of me. And he had his shirt off. Homeboy was ripped. He had nice little stomach, nice little chest, nice little muscles. So I'm messing with the camera. I'm like, oh, you look so good. If we just do this and this. And he's like, stop messing around. Just take the picture.
Rude.
Right. So I take the picture. He immediately removes mine and his picture off of his MySpace page. Do you remember MySpace?
Yes, in the top 8 struggle.
Girl.
If you put people in the wrong order on top 8, you were no longer friends.
Yep. I lost so many friends. Sorry about it. Not sorry about it. So, he removed mine and his picture from his profile picture and just put the picture of him shirtless. Well, that upset me.
He was an F-boy before F-boy was even a term.
Right, before F-boys were even a thing. I didn't even know.
He should have been sporting a man bun or holding a vape.
if they were a thing back then, he would have been that guy with a fidget spinner in one hand, his vape in the other, with his man bun. That would have been him. He's dead. You remember Live Above the Influence when that movement was out?
Oh yeah.
He went from smoking and drinking to live above the influence. And every time I posted something about me going to a party that weekend or something, he'd be like, "This is why I broke up with you."
Good for you, ho.
And I'm like, I didn't smoke or I don't smoke, and I didn't drink when we were together. I wasn't old enough, so.
I hate when people are like,
What the fuck?
all weird and vengeful. Like, that's supposed to make you see the error of your ways. Like, nah.
Right.
Good
No.
for you. You left. You're happy. I'm out. I'm happy. Leave me alone.
That wasn't. That was not the event. That was like the final event when I was like, okay, yeah, it's over. The event that made me decide to end it was night.
The juicy part.
Oh, juiciness. Was the night that he had just got a brand new bed. I was sitting on the bed. Now, the guy is like 5'1". I'm 5'6". There's a little bit of height issue. It didn't bother me because he was fine as hell. Was fine as hell back then.
We saw that Facebook page too.
We saw that Facebook pic. Babe, what happened? Just saying. Anyway, I was sitting on the bed. He was standing between my knees. And I was like, from this angle, we can look eye to eye. He, before I knew it, he had hit me, like just right across the face. Me, I grew up in an abusive family. I don't put up with that. My dad abused my mom. No, I don't put up with that. So without realizing what I had done, I had actually grabbed him by his throat, stood up, and slammed him into the TV that was behind him, and told him if he had ever hit me like that again, he would be a dead man. So that was the event that made me realize it needed to end, it needed to be over, stuff needed to move on. But
Proud of you, because a lot of people just put up with it.
I would not have put up with it. I would have been in jail. I would have gotten in trouble for abusing him or something. I don't know.
I feel like that's not the case because you grew up with it, so you would know.
Right.
Like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
This needs to be done.
So that was. We actually ended up like breaking up with each other on Halloween after weeks of me calling him, no answer. Like, I wanted to break up with him in person. I had actually made one trip up to his house to get some of my belongings, and that was the weekend that he made me take the new profile picture and everything. And he was still acting like he was with me that weekend. And then a couple weekends later, we were supposed to hang out again, and he blew me off. He was like, I had to work all weekend, when he actually posted post on MySpace saying that he was at a beach party. He posted pictures with a new girl. When he was questioned who the new girl was, it was just a friend's wife. And he would tell me how he would spend a night at the friend's house, and he would even sometimes sleep in the friend's bed with the friend and the wife.
I'm sorry, but if you're sleeping in the same bed as your friend and their significant other, be their girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, you're too involved.
Right.
That's not normal.
From what my understanding is, he ended up causing a divorce with that couple and getting the girl pregnant. So the kid I showed you,
Oh!
yes,
That poor child.
So
Now I wonder if he has his friends crawling up in their bed.
I don't want to know, honestly. Last I heard from him, they were no longer together because, quote, she was a bitch. Which, quote,
That's code for he got busted doing something, probably.
that was
but
code
hey,
for he was busted doing something, dumbass. Sorry about it.
keep it in your pants.
Yeah. Anyway, your turn.
So, I'm trying to think. This one doesn't qualify as an ex-boyfriend from hell, but I do have a very interesting another first date story for you guys. Most of my ex-boyfriends weren't necessarily bad people. I was kind of the bad person because I would date people for like 2 weeks and then be like, okay, I'm over you, bye. And so I would like spend that 2 weeks like letting them get invested and then just be over it because I get sick of people. So I don't know how I've had friends for as long as I've had them.
Right, how long have we been friends?
I was 18 when we became friends, so...
We've been friends forever.
Almost 7 years.
Holy shit.
And I've had my boyfriend for almost 5 years. But so another bad first date story, and I'm not going to disclose who it is because they're going to see this story and be like, oh, that's me, and they're going to maybe get a little butthurt with me. So we're not even going to include how I know them, how I met them, any of that. But our first date...
I know who this person is.
We're hanging out at their house, and I've been there maybe 20 minutes. And, you know, we're just listening to music, talking, having a regular old conversation, and then out of nowhere... a little friend pops up to say hi, and they asked me to give them an Australian kiss, which is like a French kiss but down under. And yeah, that was not happening. So I politely declined that offer, and we went about our evening, and we still know each other to this day.
Y'all didn't bebop?
So, no, we did not bebop.
Australian kisses.
Okay, I got one more for you. This one was an ex-boyfriend from hell, but it was more like a boyfriend from hell. Like, we don't really talk. Like, we surprisingly catch up every now and then. I'll be like, oh, hey, how's life? You know, he's in a good place, I'm in a good place. We were like 14, so there's no like resentment there. But when we were dating, oh man. So let me preface this by saying he had dated one of my friends about 6-ish months before, and I didn't know. I didn't even know that this guy existed when they were dating. Like, she didn't tell me she had a boyfriend or anything like that. And so then one day she was just like, hey, you should talk to my friend. We're gonna call him, what should I call him? What's a generic boy's name?
Tom.
Okay, so she's like, hey, you should talk to my friend Tom. He's really cool. So she gave me his phone number. And so I was talking to Tom. Tom and I got to be pretty good friends. Well, another friend of ours had been talking to Tom as well, which nobody had disclosed to me. The only problem was our other friend was not interested in Tom that way, and Tom was super interested in her. So she asked me, hey, you know, will you come to my softball game? I don't want Tom to show up and have to be there by myself with him because he really likes me and I don't like him that way. Should have been the first red flag. But I showed up anyways. Tom never showed up. Everything was cool. I got to hang out with my friend. We're going to call her Katie for lack of a different name. Well, that's not her name, but still for lack of a better generic name because it's really close to what her name was. Anyway, so...
Was his name Tom?
Huh?
What was his... Is Tom
his real
close?
name? No, that's really far from his real name. I was talking about her name. I'll tell you the real names afterwards. I'll show you Facebook pages and everything.
Shade.
But, so... Tom never showed up to Katie's softball game. Katie went home, I went home, everything was gravy. Later that night, Tom called me, and I was like, hey, because this was back in the day where you had to be like, hey, call me after 9 o'clock when my phone calls are free. So...
God, how old are we?
I know, right? So he calls me after 9 o'clock, and I get my little cheapy flip phone out, and I'm sitting there with my lights off trying to whisper so my mom doesn't come in the room. And we talked until like 4 in the morning. Like, we had a really interesting conversation. Like, we really got to know each other pretty well. And like,
Were you bebopping over the phone?
oh God, no. No, God, no. But he disclosed a lot of information to me. Like, he told me, you know, a very close family member of his had passed away about a year ago, and, you know, it still affects him, and talked about all this different stuff. It was crazy. I felt like we'd known each other forever. So around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, I have to get up for school in like an hour. Because I used to get up super early, help my siblings get up, make breakfast, help my dad get ready for work, like everything. And so I was like, I'll talk to you later. And he said, okay, I'll talk to you later. I love you.
No, boo.
Okay. He was like, you don't love me too? And I felt really bad. And so me being 14 and not having any life experience, I was like, sure, love you too, bye. And hung up the phone, went to sleep for an hour, got up, got everybody ready, whatever. So I walked to my bus. It's now like 5:30 in the morning. And he's texting me and, you know, saying things like, I really enjoyed our conversation, blah, blah, blah. We had, you know, we have a lot of in common, whatever. He was like, maybe we should go out. Which is not how you ask a girl out. But again, 14 and stupid. I was like, yeah, you know what? We should. So I guess from that point we were dating. Now, for those of you that don't live in Vegas, he lived very far away, like other side of town. And for people in smaller towns, that doesn't sound like a good long while, but it took me about 45 minutes to get to his house the first time that we went and hung out on his side of town. So he was way out there.
You might as well be in another state at that point, like here in Vegas.
Right.
I'm starting to understand, like, Vegas distance.
Yeah.
And now, if you're in a small town, you have to travel 45 minutes to the next town, that's one thing. It's worth it. But here in Vegas, just to get from North Las Vegas to South Las Vegas, you might as well just get on a plane at that point, because...
Basically. So, he lived really far. We're both 14 years old. Neither of us have a car or a license or anything like that. I am super directionally challenged to this day, and I've lived here for almost like
That's
11
fair.
years now or something. And so I was not taking the bus down there. Not to mention it wasn't the best part of town that he lived in, but...
It would take you like 4 hours to get there.
So we didn't see each other very often. And one day he came over to my house. He came over to meet my dad because the rule was if we were actually going to be like in an official relationship, he had to get my dad's permission. That wasn't my parents' rule. That was a rule I came up with on my own because I felt like my dad was a better judge of character than I was. And, you know, whatever. So he meets my dad, talks to my dad, gets his permission, whatever. Well, my dad kind of wanted to retract it not too long later because my dad asked him, so what do you want to do with your life? He goes, well, I'll either be a corrections officer or I'll end up in prison. Either way, I'll be in the system. Don't say this to your girlfriend's fathers. Bad idea.
Why?
So my dad took him home not too long after he said that. And the whole car ride home, he's texting me, telling me how my dad is staring at him like a serial killer and it's really creeping him out. And a couple of months went by. He came over to my house again and met my friend. What are we going to call her? Oh, God.
This isn't Katie. This is a different friend?
No, this is a different friend.
Emily.
Emily is like my little sister. She was actually really good friends with my little sister before we had moved. And then she came to visit us one day. She was at our house, like whatever. And he had happened to come over. Well, he wanted me to make out with him. I'd never done it before at that point. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I left him and Emily alone in the front yard. And apparently he made out with Emily while I was in the house grabbing soda for all of us.
Awesome.
Which I didn't find out about until like a week after it had happened when Emily felt guilty and told me.
Girl, that's...
Yeah.
I would have told you, like, immediately. I would have ran in the house and be like, bitch.
Yeah.
Do you know what this... Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was the thing. And then just the way we broke up was terrible because I forgave him after that. Because, again, 14 and stupid. I forgave him after that. And we still continued to date. I think we had been together for like 9 months, 10 months, like almost a year. Longest I've ever put up with anybody at that point.
Right.
And I got a text one night because I had tried to call him and say goodnight like I normally did. I get a text that says, Tom went to jail on unknown charges. This is Mom. I think it's better if you guys just part ways. And so I freaked out. And I texted and I was like, okay, well, do you have any idea what happened? Like, what's going on? How long? Like, what happened? And so Tom's mother texted me back and said, I'm not really sure what's going on, but it seems like he's going to be there for a while. He did something really bad. Okay, well, I'm not stupid. I might have been 14 and stupid, but I wasn't that stupid. So I called.
You might have been born yesterday, but you weren't
Right.
born yesterday. Anyway.
So I called, and somebody answered the phone. And it wasn't Tom's mom. I had met Tom's mom several times. She's a really sweet lady, and I would have known had it been her, but it was a boy. Sounded like he was about my age. His voice hadn't really, completely matured, whatever.
Tom, we got you.
And I was like, what happened to Tom? And he started speaking in a Spanish accent, which, when he answered the phone, he did not have.
Damn.
So
It was Tom.
I was like, okay,
well.
where's Tom? What's going on with Tom? He goes, oh, no, Tom here, and using this accent. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Also, I recognize your voice. I had put 2 and 2 together. It was one of his friends. We'll call him Eric. So Tom thought that he would be slick and type that message and that I would just buy it. So when I called and he didn't know what to do, he put Eric on the phone, and Eric was speaking in this accent, pretending to be some dude that just didn't know who that was. Like, I hadn't been calling this phone number every night for almost a year. So I hung up the phone, tried to put myself back together because I was mad. Like, I was ready to jump on a bus or call one of my friends that drives and go over there and like smash his windows. Like, I was
Burn his house
mad.
down.
And so I calmed down, had some water, sat on the curb for a minute, got angry, punched a wall or two, whatever. So then I text Tom's phone number and I said, I don't know who the heck this is, but this is Brooke, Tom's now ex-girlfriend. You tell him he can have fun in jail and with whoever else is in jail, and tell him I said don't drop the soap. And I did not talk to him for good, 5 years.
Wow.
We just happened to cross each other one day on Facebook, and now we're cordial, we're cool, but God, back then I hated him so much.
I don't blame you.
That was gnarly.
Should we do my first date with AOL boy? I'm just going to call him that. Does that work? AOL
Yeah.
boy. Okay.
Should we do it on this video, or should we do a part 2 really quick? Stop this one and then.
We can just do it on
Okay.
this one. It'd be fine. I'll probably, yeah. So, me and AOL boy, like I said, we had dated for 5 months. Before we actually started dating, we had talked on the phone and AOL for a year and a half, and we were friends. The first weekend we actually spent together as a couple, I had already told myself, it's my first time meeting him in person. I'm not going to do anything with him. We're not going to bebop. We're not going to do any Australian kisses. We're not going to do anything. I was going to be a good girl. Nothing. So
Yeah.
we go out on a very nice date, meet some of his friends, meet his parents. It was really awkward because he still lived with his parents, and I was sleeping in his bedroom. So that was a little weird. I was prepared to sleep on the couch, but he's like, no, you can sleep in here in my room. Awkward. Because I never shared bed with a guy like that. It was kind of weird. So I went to sleep in my bra, my panties, my tank top, my shorts. I had stuff covered, in case he tried to do anything. Stuff wasn't going to happen because he would have to get through stuff. Stuff happened. She said it was kind of rapey when we were talking about it before.
Well, explain how stuff happened. Because this was not a consensual
It wasn't
thing at first.
It wasn't at first consented because, I mean, if we had been together a while, I could understand him waking me up like this. Sure, wake me up like that. I don't care. Our first time meeting that night, maybe it's not a good way to wake me up. Waking me up with like, hey, do you mind doing stuff? I'm gonna be like, no, we're not doing stuff. But when I am woken up by you doing stuff, it's a little rapey. It's a little awkward.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
And this is why I don't like him.
Oh, she hasn't even met the guy. She hates him.
Consent is important.
Consent is always
important.
important.
Enough how important
Moral of the day,
consent
consent is important. Whether you meet her
Yeah.
2 seconds, whether you've known her for a year and a half, consent is important. I don't even know how to explain in YouTube terms what he did to wake me up.
He went through her coin purse. Just imagine what you do when you dig through a coin purse and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, just say it. And I don't know how he got my shorts off without waking me up. I guess I'm a heavy sleeper. Don't know. But now anything wakes me up. I guess because of that. Thanks. I'm just going to call him Rufio. That was kind of his nickname anyway. You remember that in Hook, the Asian kid.
That's why I laughed, because that bad hairdo though. We saw that Facebook page.
That's all I'm saying.
But yeah.
Having to explain to my mom, because as soon as I got back home, the next, like after that weekend, my mom's like, you guys did stuff, I can tell. I'm like,
how could she tell though? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know. I was freaked out. Like, I was confused. I'm like, I didn't consent to do stuff. Should I break up with this person? Am I okay? Am I gonna die?
Also,
What's going on?
we're still recording. Sorry, cameo from my boyfriend and his loud mouth. Anyway,
Pebble. Love Pebble.
but so just a little word of advice to you young girls who may be in a situation like this. If somebody does that without your consent and you are not okay with them doing that, leave, because it will get worse. They will not respect what you have to say. Leave.
And I wish I had known that. I wish I had known it wasn't okay, but I thought because we were boyfriend, girlfriend, it was okay. But I realized it is not.
People should not take advantage of your body parts because you're dating. People should not take advantage of your body parts because you're sleeping. They should not feel like they can take any liberties with you just because you're there.
I know.
That is your body.
I wish I had had a friend like her back then, because I would have called her and be like, Blue, is this normal? Like, this is like our first weekend. Like,
And he would not have procreated with somebody else because he would have gotten murdered. But hey, that's okay.
I do have to say though, 9 inches, it was okay.
Just okay.
A little rapey.
Super rapey. And never okay.
Never okay. But
on a scale of 1 to 10, it was okay.
it was a 9.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a 9 for those 9 inches.
There you go.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so I think is that it? That's all we
That's
got
it.
for you guys today. Make sure, like and subscribe. We'll go ahead and link our Instagram and stuff. We need to update on there. We haven't updated since the makeup marker video.
True. I tried it.
Also,
post
if you
stuff,
guys
but-
want to respond and show us your marker makeup videos, we would absolutely love that. Or send us your marker makeup photos.
Oh yeah,
We would love to.
Thank you everyone that liked
that.
our marker makeup pics that we posted on Instagram. Thank you so much. We have actually gotten a few more followers. Yeah, a bunch
Shout out
of
to you
cute.
guys.
Yeah, a bunch of cuties liked your picture.
Oh, shucks.
A bunch of girls like my picture, not sure how to take that. Bunch of guys like you.
rainbow hair.
It is. Everyone likes my rainbow hair.
Also, were my titties visible in that picture? I don't remember.
No, they were not.
Oh. Well, hey.
Like your meme you posted. Cute as fuck, though.
Yep.
All right, guys. That is all for tonight. Bye.
We love you. Bye.